Welcome, lovers of offline single-player games. My name is CouchCube. Hang on, what's this? Ignore it, it'll go away. My long-awaited Pragmata review has arrived. If I was posh, I would say Pragmata, oh, Pragmata, but thankfully I'm not. Another thing I'm going to ignore is all of the online noise around this game. If you know, you know. It's just not something I feel I need to cover. I just want to talk about a beautiful Capcom title, which was teased way back in 2020. Yes, I went with the Japanese language, all will be explained.
管理 AI から反応なし。報告通りだ。わかった。誘導がなきゃ仕方ない。手動で降りるぞ。
I do prefer Hugh's voice in that native language. I make an association with Japanese sci-fi mechs and that dialect. Please see my Armored Core 6 review. Right off the bat, it makes you feel like you're playing something very special. I'm talking on a visual level, this is clearly top tier concept and design. I do get a whiff of Horizon Zero Dawn on some of the mechanical colour schemes, but that's a compliment. Is there yellow paint? There is no yellow paint DSP.
結局出迎えもなしか。娘の誕生日だったのにこんな仕事。子供がいたのか。
And it's an absolutely classic sci-fi introduction. Team turn up on the moon, communications have gone down, they've got to work out what went wrong, and obviously a lot went wrong. The very idea of AI, robots and 3D printers and the two working in conjunction and going rogue is amazing. It's got so much room for craziness and enemy design that you're already excited at this point. And I did play the demo, so I've got a good idea about what this game requires of me. And then of course, quite quickly, you are introduced to the poster child, literally, of the game, and it's Diana. She is also the game's namesake. She is a Pragmata cyborg and not the only one in the game. An immediate friendship is struck through necessity as Hugh needs to get back to this radio tower to contact Earth. Interesting, in the dialogue at the beginning, Hugh also mentions he's got no kids. He says to the other guy who has got kids, that must be rough. So we've got a blank slate on the paternal front with this character, which I'm assuming is totally deliberate. This is a third-person action sci-fi shooter at heart, but it's thrown in this great hacking technique which produces a square on screen. You navigate with the face buttons, an icon around a grid, and get various perks, shortcuts, all kinds of very cool stuff happens if you keep an eye on this square. And that would be my only minor gripe, is that it takes your eyes off the absolute amazing visuals that are unfolding in front of you. That brings me on to what we're looking at. Regulars, you all already know. New people, what does it look like? Are you thinking this is performance? How are those frames? What's that resolution? It is quality. There is only one of two modes. Didn't even go to performance. I had one frame drop. We'll come up to it later. And all of this is base level PlayStation 5. That grid system firing mechanism, when I was playing the demo, I very much rushed it. I thought it was a one and done thing, but you can go back to it. It remembers where your marker is, so you can reposition. You don't have to be aiming all the time. Talking of that demo, and with most of these things, that experience is like elongated in the main games. It's quite a while before you come up to Ed 309. There is kind of a time parry in the form of that dodge, but that doesn't come until a latter perk is open. And I was trying for it all the time, something that is introduced later. Same thing with the demo. In actual fact, you get a second run and then it's popped in. Enough about the demo. The next thing is that I was thinking, oh my god, this game is so easy, because I am very experienced with this genre and it doesn't throw too much at you. Be reassured, and when you go into the hub and look at the extensive perks, that it ramps it up perfectly. It's about right. In actual fact, it goes completely off the hook in places and traps you in incredibly small rooms with absolutely loads of enemies. And that is a major aspect to both the weapons and the hacking system. It's absolutely about crowd control, stopping these things walking towards you, putting out nets almost, and sort of kiting everything in the right place. You can get an AoE effect weapon drop in. There are no grenades, by the way, but there is a grenade launcher of sorts. There's also an RPG, so no harm, no foul. The hub, the shelter thing, acts as this sort of rudimentary museum for Earth stuff. And obviously Diana hasn't been to Earth, so there's all this interesting interactions, things you bring back. They print out TVs, there's a slide, quite a lot in this direction, to be fair. People have been referring to this game as Dad Space as opposed to Dead Space. Yeah, they don't need it explained. We'll come back to all of that because, again, another interesting dynamic. This whole globe thing is a Japanese TV show reference, apparently. And the loadout system, which in later game is extremely welcome, was baffling to me at the beginning. I'm like, why are you even bothering with this? I'm clearing up, but there will be situations that you feel require a particular combination of weapons. You'll gravitate to favourites. I particularly like the shotgun, and you can start pumping points into that, increasing the damage and efficiency.
すごい。
大したもんだな。ニューヨークのモデルか。
ニューヨーク？それって地球にある都市？
ああ、アメリカのな。
ネオンがいっぱい。看板も。どこを見ていいか迷っちゃう。
This is one of your first graphical environmental flexes, getting to this like reproduced New York, but it's not all completely printed and you see these mistakes and different sections that are unfinished, tables are on the ceiling. I love that idea, sort of flawed replication. It is also about now, however, I'm thinking I don't want any more of these shambling easy kills. Give me some pushback, give me some variation, and holy hell, it almost heard me in real time. This is patch 1.21 as well, I need to mention, and they've really slung loads of support at the PS5 Pro and sort of helped with that 120. PSSR has been pushed in, which stands for PlayStation Super Spectral Resolution. Talking about PlayStation Pro enhancements doesn't depress me at all. Ghouls and Ghosts poster, totally love that. There's loads of really cool visuals that if you spend the time you can spot some great Easter eggs. Okay, it's time to look at some extended violence. The music is surprisingly reach for the lasers considering what's going on screen, but Capcom have always had an affinity with that sort of thing. They just make it work, it does fit perfectly. Also about now in the game where the grid system will change dependent on what sort of enemy you're fighting. The bigger, larger stuff has slightly more complicated navigation within that square. If a robot is sporting a red section or shield that needs to be popped, it will be represented by a section of that grid you can't navigate. It's very disruptive if you don't deal with it, and it's an angle that I really enjoyed, and I didn't think they'd inject it that early. This is just some footage highlighting your perk slot so you can actually take with you on a mission a special square which can have all kinds of outcomes. That is your choice, and again you will have preference with that. There's one that confuses the enemy, there's an overheat, there's a multi-hack. It's a really great system of variation on the loadout. So this is where I experienced my first major frame drop in that quality mode. And to be honest, it's a really ambitious arena to be fighting this thing in, and it is colossal. But everything after this, so far, so good. Creature and boss design. I consider showing bosses in this game potentially spoiler. They are that batshit and awesomely designed that seeing one before you've got to it, you know, in some footage on social media, potentially would ruin that surprise a bit because they're that off the wall. So be safe in the knowledge that I'm very conscious of that. You won't see any late game or the last boss in this video review. We can now see that red section in the grid. Bro's got these like barnacles on him that you got to get rid of in order to open up the square. And some of you guys might be like me. I unconsciously walk forward when I'm holding in L2 when aiming with my gun. I don't know why I do it. That can become potentially quite dangerous with this setup. You have to make sure you pick your spot for when you're going to stand and deliver. Getting to watch that on the replay was just a joy. When you're in it, you just don't have time to soak it all up. Capcom, can we have a photo mode, please? The nearest thing we get to that, and a good opportunity to look at these things in detail, is a bestiary of sorts. You get these tokens, you get to unlock various different enemies that you've come across. Pushing triangle allows you to sort of pop off their hacked appearance. Well, cool. But yeah, photo mode, Capcom.
待望の新機能、その名もトレーニングシミュレーションです。
I love the way the Japanese say simulation. It's just simulation, but with a Japanese twist. Same with the word 3D printer. Do we have equivalents on our side? Yeah. Karaoke. Yes, there are challenge rooms of sorts. Now, these are very obstacle focused, jumping around, that sort of thing, timed, but they get a lot better. And that was another thing I was craving. I was like, I want a horde mode, time sort of challenge room, that sort of thing. It does come up. You have to unlock it. Okay, I want to have the chat about Diana's voice and how that works with the gameplay. The dialogue variation during combat isn't that massive, and I'm pretty sure if I had that Western language on, it would grate at me a little bit more. I think a lot of this is because I'm so old and incredibly grumpy. I'll put it in perspective for you. Remember Dungeons and Dragons, the cartoon? There was this like miniature unicorn. I hated that thing. And Final Fantasy games, when there's like a cute friend or a little creature that makes noises, that's not my bag. And I know it is other people, so that's okay. And we are finally getting some pushback here. This enemy is pretty formidable and they are quite frequent, and this is my first death. It's not, you lies. Sticking on that challenge front, you also get these things called red rooms, and you need to get the keys for them. You can find them, you can earn them through the tokens, and it just warns you and says, by the way, we're going to ramp it up a bit. Very welcome, and they are optional, and they are in most of the biomes. The game injects a mechanic where missiles come towards you and you can quick hack them and turn them right around onto the enemy. Something gives me Beautiful Joe vibe with that. I can't put my finger on it. Give me comments. I think this is one of my first time dodges. They are not as easy to get. That window is quite minute. If you blink, you'll miss it. I've also got purple icons in my grid now. I've got a second stage sort of added bonus system where you can leave the marker over a symbol for increased damage. Crazy how much they have pumped into that system. And that brings me back to me first clapping eyes on this in 2023. I thought it was going to be this like weird anti-gravity space exploration game. I did not have it down as being a purebred Capcom banger. That might be in the thumbnail. Talking of purebred Capcom bangers, please guys, and I'm appealing to you directly here, I might even cry a little bit when I say this, bring back Lost Planet, please bring back Lost Planet. I don't even care if Troy Baker's in it. That's how badly I want to see that game on 9th gen. Another thing that Capcom have achieved here is doing all of this without dropping a single bit of blood. There is no gore, it is all robot macabre. Stop making up words. Another piece of media that achieves this quite well is that Alita Battle Angel. Oh my Christ, invisible spider robots. And back to the Hugh Diana dynamic. The last time I saw this done that well was Bioshock 2 with the Little Sisters. This game is wholesome AF and it's refreshing. And you're damn right you get a carbine. And I think that's its not so hidden message. There's theories bouncing around that this is some Japanese birth rate accelerator. Not only does it tap into that, it's a cracking third-person sci-fi shooter with a very unique twist. The father-daughter dynamic, the protector. If you've had kids, you know that you never really let go. There's that great story of that dad that sits in on New Year's Eve and has done for 30 years in case his kids ring up and need help. Where's Grumpy Coop gone? Okay, last boss I'm showing you. Look at the design, scorpion thing going on. Wow, multiple arms. It's the stuff for nightmares. It's amazing. Buy this physical because of the upcoming apocalypse. Stick it right next to your copy of Resident Evil 5. I mean 9. I would probably have Monster Hunter World in that category. Capcom are masters of their craft, and they have really flexed with this one. Huge thanks, guys, for getting to the end of the video. I'm currently experiencing an 8% click-through rate, which is a record, can you believe? Resident Evil 9 will be coming soon. And of course, we've got Saros. We've got some more local co-op. We've got part 5 coming up. I was Couch Coop. I'll see you down there.
Okay.
ヒューは海に行ったことあるの？地球にいた時。
それな。家のすぐ近くに海がある。
ヒューの家。
気分を変えたくなったら一泳ぎしに行ったりしてな。潮風で屋根のペンキは剥げちまうが。何しやがる！